Hello, my loves. I'm back with you for pre med. And this week is pre med 3, week 4. And it's the endocrine system. Endocrine system, you don't hear that much about because you don't. I mean, like reproductive and respiratory and gastro, yeah, you hear about. This diagram is going to be on the test, all right? And we're going to start out right here on this side. This part right here is called the pineal gland. And what it provides, and this is all in the notes, it provides melatonin at night so you can go to sleep. This is the parathyroid gland. You have four of them, two on each side of the thyroid. And this controls calcium and phosphorus. Adrenal glands, one on top of each kidney, and they produce cortisone, which are steroids, all right? And cortisone is used to treat arthritis. Then right here behind the stomach, you can't see it if it was a regular body, is the pancreas. And any diabetic knows about the pancreas. The pancreas secretes insulin when your blood sugar is high and glucagon when your blood sugar is low. However, in most diabetics, either the pancreas works, but your body doesn't know what to do with the hormones, excuse me, or the pancreas doesn't work at all. Down here we have ovaries in females. They secrete estrogen and progesterone, give us our secondary sexual characteristics. Right here at the base of the brain, the size of a pea, little bitty pea, is the pituitary gland, and that is the master gland. Why? Because it tells all these other glands when and how much of their hormones to secrete. Right here we have the thyroid gland, all right, right by the trachea. And what that does is it provides some iodine, and it also provides metabolism for your cells. Down here we have the testes in males, and that produces testosterone, which gives males their secondary sexual characteristics. So you should all have this diagram just like this. It is going to be on the test, just like you see it, all right? Okay, I'm going to go over the vocabulary words with you real quickly because all of this is covered in the notes as well. Uro means urine. Tri, T-R-I, means three. Hypo is below. Hyper is excessive. Emia, you notice I put that dash in front of emia? That's a suffix at the end of a word. That means blood condition. Anemia. Urea is urine condition. Acra means extremities, your hands and your feet, your fingers and toes. Adeno means gland, like adreno. Crin, again, comes at the end of the word. Crin means to secrete. Endocrine. I'm going to show you in a second. Home. It looks like home, but it's pronounced homie, just like your homies, all right? It means sameness. And think about it, the homies or people that you have something in common with. You have the sameness with them in some respect. FBS is fasting blood sugar. That's part of a test for diabetes. Glyco is a combining form. It's the root plus the slash O, and that means sugar. Gluco is a combining form, and that also means sugar. Capital GTT, not lowercase. Lowercase means drop. But capital GTT is the glucose tolerance test. That is the fasting blood sugar when you've had nothing to eat or drink after midnight, followed by a real high carb meal. Now, when you go to the doctor's office, they're not going to fill you up with bread. It's that real sweet, flat drink you have to drink. Ugh. And it raises your blood sugar up. Well, if you're not diabetic, you should be able to produce enough insulin to bring that blood sugar down. If you are diabetic, that blood sugar stays up. Okay, gonado is sex gland. Andro is male. Estro is female. Lacto is milk. Now, this is an actual word. Polyuria. Poly is frequent urination. Now, that can be a symptom of diabetes. Why? Because the diabetic also has polydipsia. Polydipsia is extreme thirst. Polyphagia, another one, is extreme hunger. All right, so all three of these, all of them are poly, which means excessive or extreme. Mix, M-Y-X, not M-I-X, but M-Y-X means mucus. Toke means childbirth. Trope means nourishment. And an endocrinologist is someone that specializes in the study of the diseases of the endocrine system. And if you're a diabetic, that's where you go, to an endocrinologist. All right, we're going to actually start the notes right now, okay? Endocrine glands secrete hormones. Now, each hormone has an action on your body. If there is an excess or hyper amount, or if there's a deficient or hypo amount of these hormones, that can lead to a disorder. Why? Because everything in the endocrine system should be at homeostasis. Remember, homeo means sameness, all right? Homeostasis is when your body is at rest, but it's working normally, all right? Endocrine glands are located all throughout the body, but they work as one system. The term endo means within. Therefore, the endocrine system secretes hormones directly into the bloodstream. It does not secrete them into another organ. It secretes them into the bloodstream. It's highlighted with a red dot. Whenever you see something red, it's important. Endocrine system is ductless, and there's no pump involved like the cardiovascular system. So the endocrine system, think of the difference between jet skiing, which is your heart, or tubing, which is the endocrine system. Because it has no pump to leave the organ at 40 miles an hour, it just slowly meanders along, all right? Okay, glands secrete hormones that work on our bodies to keep us at balance. Nothing leaves the body with the endocrine. Endo means within. Crine means to secrete within. Now we have exocrine glands, like our tears. Our tear ducts are exocrine glands. In fact, exo means outside glands. These are sweat glands, tears, milk, saliva. All of these things can leave the body. There's no secretions that exit the body with endo. Hormones are secretions from glands that go directly into the bloodstream. Now, if you're going to have hormones leaving a gland going to the bloodstream, if you got a baseball pitcher, what do you need on the other side of that home plate? You better have a baseball catcher. And that's exactly what a receptor site is. A receptor site is a place within the body where the hormones actually take effect and work at the cellular level. You have estrogen all throughout your body, but it's the ovaries, okay, that really cause the estrogen to work. That's the receptor site. All right, we're going to start off with the thyroid gland. And the thyroid gland is the one that was close. Thyroid gland is the one we looked at right here, okay? Thyroid gland. The thyroid gland is located, first of all, it's bilobed, meaning it's like shaped like a butterfly, all right? Bi meaning two, bilobed. And one lobe on each right and left side of your trachea, which is a dangerous place to be, all right? Which is your windpipe. The function of the thyroid gland is to regulate metabolism. What's metabolism? We just said it. Nobody raised their hands to say, Miss O, I don't know what that word means. Well, I'm going to raise my hand and I'll tell you. Metabolism is how fast our body turns nutrients into energy. So some people have a very fast metabolism. These people can eat and eat and eat and never gain an ounce, and I want to just slap them across the room. Other people like me, I can look at a glass of water and put on 5 pounds. Okay? That's the difference. That's metabolism. So it is the metabolic rate which converts food into energy. Highlighted, the thyroid gland contains and needs iodine to make sufficient amounts of its hormones. And the shortened versions of its hormones are T3 and T4. I'm going to give you the big names in a second. Now, a common source of iodine in our diets are table salt and fish. Let me tell you something. They used to be, when you walked down the aisle in the grocery store for salt, there was a little blue box with the girl with the umbrella. That was it. That was all the choices you had. Not now. You can choose Himalayan salt, pink salt, sea salt, ocean salt, crappy salt, good salt. Ugh. What you need to look for, unless you are allergic to shellfish, is salt, and it says iodized. That way, you make sure you're getting your daily requirement of iodine just by putting salt on your food. All right? Now, I'm saying if you're allergic to shellfish, no, 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 no. I'm not telling you to do this. All right? So, you need that for the thyroid gland to work. Now, remember I said the hormones are T3 and T4? You're going to have to know the hormone T3 stimulates metabolism in cells and the name of it. Now, look, it looks like a big word, but if you had a big steak for dinner last night, did you shove that whole thing in your mouth one time? I don't think so. You cut it up in small pieces. It is pronounced, and go with me, tri-ido thyronine. Let's try it again. Tri-ido-thyronine. Break it down in small pieces, then you can get it. This works to stimulate metabolism in the cells. Thyroxine, which is T4, works with calcitonin to help elevate blood calcium levels. Now, highlighted in red, T3 and T4 are not only the names of the abbreviations for the hormones secreted, but that's also the names of the test. Okay, the test to perform to detect thyroid problems. Next page, we're still on thyroid. Look at the top. And if you look in your book on page 768, at the bottom, you'll see what I'm talking about. There's two ladies. One of them has the goiter. Goiter is an enlarged thyroid gland because of low levels of iodine, causing low levels of T3 and T4. Now, this can be a serious problem. Notice with the lady with the goiter, her eyes are bulging out. That's called myxedema, all right? But why is it dangerous for the thyroid gland to be swollen or enlarged? Why is it? It's bad for any gland, but this one particularly because it surrounds your trachea. If that starts to swell up, how easily are you going to be able to breathe? You're not. Hyperthyroidism is overactivity of the thyroid gland. Hyper, you think of it, remember a kid on sugar. They're hyper, excess, okay? Hypocalcitonin is a lack of calcium that can lead to osteoporosis. All right, page 753, parathyroid gland. Now, you have two pair. They're four small oval bodies on the posterior or behind, on the back surface of the thyroid gland. So if this is your thyroid gland, butterfly shape, you're going to have one here, and one here, and one here on the back. Parathyroid, now this is a good one to remember. The function is to regulate calcium and phosphorus in the body. The hormone that it secretes, PTH. Oh, that's expensive stuff. No, it stands for parathyroid hormone, PTH. Now, you need to know that hypofunctioning of the parathyroid can lead to tetany. And you say, well, big whoop, what's tetany? You ever had a Charlie horse? Well, imagine it about 100 times worse, and it does not go away. Tetany is a state of very intense muscle spasms. It's extremely painful and can be potentially life-threatening. Why? Gee whiz, I don't know. Isn't your heart a muscle? Yeah, not too good, huh? If that one goes into a spasm. So that's what tetany is. All right, adrenal glands, 754 and 755 in your textbook. Excuse me, where are they located? Okay, You have one on top of each kidney, adrenal glands. They are two distinct sections or areas of the adrenal gland. You have the inner region. So if I took, oh, okay, here we go. If I took this and sliced it in half, it would look like this, like that. Okay, I cut it in half. You're gonna have the what's the first one? Let's see. You're gonna have the inner region in here, which is the medulla. You're going to have the outer region, which is the cortex. Easy to remember, outer has an O, so does cortex. And it's important because each one does a different job, all right? The adrenal cortex is the outer region. It secretes steroids. You think that's an important note? I would guess so, all right? It secretes steroids to help regulate potassium and sodium for the inflammatory process. Now, cortisone, here's another important one. Cortisone is commonly used to treat arthritis. All right? Commonly used to treat arthritis. Excuse me. Increased amounts of the steroid, though, of cortisol, can lead to what's called Cushing's disease. There's a picture of it in the book. Cushing, I want you. Okay, y'all ever remember when ladies used to sew? I mean, God forbid, all right? Anyway, there used to be a pin cushion, and it was a red round thing. It was actually looked like a tomato. Big red round. I mean round, okay, and big. And that's where you put your pins when you weren't using them. It's a cushion, and it's big. That should help you remember Cushing's disease because the face becomes extremely rounded like a moon, okay? Moon face. That's what Cushing's disease is. And I put here symptoms include a very, very rounded shape to the face. Think of a pin cushion, God forbid, and you should have no trouble remembering Cushing's disease. Now, that was the cortex, the outer region, this region right here, outer. Now we're going to the inner region, the medulla. I love you got medullas all over your body. Did you notice that? Medulla is the inner region. Now it's going to be the inner region. Outer region secretes steroids. Inner region secretes epinephrine. Neither one of these are nice. Both of these can be very helpful, but very dangerous. They don't play around, okay? So it's going to secrete epinephrine. Epinephrine is a powerful cardiac stimulant. If you've ever watched any of these medical shows, be it the kind that's made from TV or the kind where the camera just follows the ER doctor around and you'll hear him say, give me 5 cc's of epi. Well, that's what they're talking about, epinephrine. And usually it's injected right into the heart. Sometimes it's injected into the IV, all right? The part of the adrenal gland is responsible for regulating stress. Remember in the nervous system last week we had the fight or flight syndrome. You hear a loud noise at your front door in the middle of the night and some people are going to curl up in the bed and hope that goes away. Some people are going to get the baseball bat and say, oh, I don't think so, all right? That's the fight or flight syndrome. So you've got epinephrine being secreted in the very beginning. Remember, it dries up the mucous membranes. It slows down digestion. So if you're running, you don't have to stop and pee everywhere you go. It speeds up breathing to give you more oxygen. Then when you realize, oh my God, it was just the paper boy throwing the paper. Remember those days? No, you don't. Anyway, and the paper hit your front door. Oh my God, thank God. Well, first of all, you're going to get a massive headache. I have done it in the past. And then you're going to try to calm down, all right? Okay, page 3. Here we go. The pancreas. Now, the pancreas, you can act smart, or you're not act smart, you are smart, in front of your friends and say, it's known as the islets of Langerhans. Say it again. Islets, not islets, but islets of Langerhans, all right? Look on page 5, 756, 757. Here we go. The pancreas, where's it located? And it's in red. It is behind the stomach, okay? behind the stomach, in front of the kidneys. The function, oh Lord, here we go. The function is to regulate blood sugar levels, all right, which is glucose. Now, the hormone secreted is insulin and glucagon, two opposites, all right? But it's to break down sugars. Glucagon, glucose, glucagon are all names of sugars. Glucagon is the hormone that is secreted by a group of specialized cells in the pancreas known as alpha cells. Now, the purpose of glucagon is to elevate your blood sugar level as needed. Insulin is a hormone secreted by a group of specialized cells known as beta cells. Its purpose is to break down blood sugar levels as needed. I gotta stop here. My husband's in the other room, but he's gonna have to hear this story again. New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, 2 years ago in 2019, everybody fixed black-eyed peas, cabbage, ham, the whole bit, pork leg. And Iris fixed, she's my daughter-in-law, financial aid. She fixed a delicious bread pudding with whiskey sauce. Everybody had it. Now, my husband's a severe diabetic. His pancreas doesn't work. He's on the insulin pump, all right? His pancreas has no function. Well, everybody ate rice. We ate cornbread. We had the bread pudding, which I figured, and the sugars, his blood sugar should have been through the roof. Checks his blood sugar, it's fine. About 1 o'clock in the morning, I feel this slap, and I hear my husband come out with the 4-letter F-bomb. And I'm thinking, something's wrong. That's not like him. Maybe he must be dreaming. And it was loud. And I rolled over and tried to go back to sleep. And then I see that he had this wet fish slap again. And I finally turned over and got out of bed. He was having seizures, convulsions. Your normal blood sugar is about 70 to 100, 110. His was in the 30s, all right? His blood sugar had dropped and didn't have any cause for it to happen. But you can die from that very quickly. I ran into the kitchen, got the glucagon injection. It's pure sugar. Gave that to him. It did nothing. Called 911. They came out. They gave him some more glucagon. Did nothing. They finally had to do an IV, and he was brought to the hospital. In the hospital emergency room, they bring him, this is the middle of the night, pancakes with syrup, which he doesn't eat all this stuff, but anything to bring his blood sugar level back up. So you can never tell. And he is religious about checking his blood sugar. It's one thing I got to give him. He's a PIA, or a pain in the ass. He didn't hear that. Every other time, but checking his blood sugar, he's very good about, all right? Not like most typical men. But anyway, that was a close call. And it's happened other times, but not as severely as this. I mean, he was sweating. Our bed is about 4 feet off the ground, and he was convulsing so badly, I was afraid to leave him to go in the kitchen and get the injection because I was afraid he'd fall out of bed. So, you got to watch diabetics. They slip them in on you. Okay, here we go right here. In red, diabetes mellitus. Now, there's 2 types. Diabetes mellitus, though, is known as the decrease in the amount of insulin being secreted by the pancreas. When your pancreas notifies your body that you got too much sugar, it secretes insulin. There's 2 types of diabetes mellitus. And type 1, it's Roman numeral 1, is usually seen in kids and adults over 40. Type 2 is usually seen as what they call adult onset. Now, ladies, I'm going to tell you, diabetes is hereditary. My husband was doomed from the start. Both sets of his grandparents, his parents, and his brother. In fact, his brother passed away at a very young age because he didn't check his blood sugar like he was supposed to. And he went on dialysis, and when the doctor said come 3 times a week, Dennis knew better doing that too, so he only went 1 time a week. Yeah, he didn't follow doctor's directions, and you see what happened, all right? But if you have a family history of diabetes, it's very important that you get your blood sugar checked, all right? Okay, I'm going to stop right here because I see the red light is blinking and I don't want it to cut me off automatically. So I'm going to stop here. Tomorrow we're going to pick up and hopefully finish the notes. All right. So that's it, my loves. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Have a good afternoon.